I will use 1 devotion to keep it at 2, or I will DC. That's also fantastic. Welcome to Stone 91 Plus. The interesting part about this part of the guide is that this was post a run after a disconnect. And if you guys know what that's all about, well, disconnects suck in Deep Dungeon, and I had to suffer one while we were making the rest of the guide. So what you'll actually see is a very different Pomander layout and loadout that we'll have going into 91, but I actually think it's a better thing for you guys because the loadout I had originally stepping into 91 was a lot of good Pomanders. And generally, that's kind of what you would expect to have from like a veteran standpoint from people who are experienced with the content. But we're trying to make this approachable to someone who doesn't have that much experience and who generally probably wouldn't have that much of a good Pomander loadout. So this actually is pretty good for that reason because we'll have to get through quite a lot with what we have. We actually don't have some of the most important things that would really make this run a little bit more smoother. So we'll see how we do, and probably you might be able to pull some things out of this for your own run if like you didn't walk in with a lot of Pomanders. Now, one thing that I will definitely do is we will pull one of everything, which is something I always like to do. We'll kind of demonstrate what they do and showcase all their moves, so at least if you have to fight things, you will. It is very common for people to get through this floor set and basically not fight that much. A lot of times, if you do have a really good loadout, you did a really good 81, you can probably wipe like half these floors and get straight to the boss. So that's not uncommon, and hey, that's how I got my clear personally, and just kind of like zoom through the end. But if you have to fight things, then it's good to have to know that knowledge. So we're gonna step on in here, check your food if you have food. We're gonna pop in some food. Let's hop on into 91 Plus, and we'll see how we do. 91, let's go. If you have raising, use it, please. Please use the raising. I'm gonna pop the raising now. Alright, safety opener, which is good. That's gonna definitely prevent a lot of traps, just in case we have to step onto them. And again, our mode here is that we're going to pull everything. And you can see our poms are not that great, but that's okay. We're gonna pull this Triffid. This is a sound enemy. It does 2 moves. One is gonna be seeable, which is that one, Entangle. And then the other one is not going to be seeable, which is Creeping Ivy. So you're gonna definitely pay attention. This one is one of the enemies that is on a traditional rotation, so you can kind of expect the timing of its abilities. There are some enemies that are going to be a little bit more random, and we'll definitely try to indicate them as we see them. Not too bad with this Triffid. Boom, dead. Now the Dreamers. The Dreamers are definitely one to be slightly concerned with. They are sight aggro, and I'm going to pull one right now. These are going to have more of a random timer with their one move, which is Dark Vision. That is a line AoE that does go through walls, mind you. These are not stunnable, and that's important because what it's going to do is it's going to be similar to the bombs in 71, which do self-destruct when you kill them. So we want to be able to move pretty far away from this thing, and the enemy, you could actually see the AoE this time, unlike the bomb. It is a pretty sizable AoE. That can be line of sighted, so you can hide around a wall if needed. But Dark Vision is probably the one that you have to be most concerned with, because it is a little random. Pop It is a patrol. It is a sight aggro. A little more traditional with its attack as well. That is a point-blank whinge is. That's all it does. Nothing too special. I highly recommend, just like the previous floor, to try to handle the patrols as much as you can, only because they can kind of get a little overpopulated a bit, and they can definitely cause a lot of havoc if you're not kind of controlling that population. So once we see one, we get rid of it, and it's a pretty easy pull too, not too bad. We do not have Strength and Steel on right now. But we are presented with a treasure room here, so let me take a look at what we got. Oh, and actually, oops, false alarm, it's not a treasure room. For some reason I assumed it was, and that's okay. We have the Ya-te-veo over here, which I believe I was told it means, it was in Spanish, it means, don't hear. These are the ones that... Okay, well, actually, we aggro the Triffid, so let's deal with this Triffid first before we talk about the other one. You'll see Entangle coming up again. We also identified the exit. I saw the exit really fast. I saw the orb, so I'm actually going to move away from the exit to kind of get the full reveal and to check within the other rooms first to get a little bit better on the Pomanders. We are definitely looking for... hopefully a Bark Bomb would be really nice to have, especially for the boss coming up. I'll pull the Ya-te-veo next. Now, Ya-te-veo is a sound enemy, But this one actually is the one that gave me the most trouble, because its abilities are like slightly fast. It is on a rotation, a normal rotation too. Its first move is a giant line AoE, which definitely goes to a wall. Rotten Stench, fast, quick. Its next move is going to be Golden Dust, and why this one makes it a little trickier, why I died to this thing, because directly after Gold Dust, which is the circle AoE, it goes straight into basically Rotten Stench again, and it's pretty fast. Like the pacing of the AoEs is a little bit more trickier than something you're more used to. Even the Triffid had a little bit more of a break in between the AoEs, so just be very cautious with them that you're ready to dodge that, because that is... You know, hey, maybe it's only me that had a problem with that one, but I had a lot of problems with that one, dying to that because I just wasn't ready. Okay, so here, because we have a lot of sight enemies, sound enemies, I'm sorry, we can get that chest pretty easily, but I do want to get rid of this Dreamer first. Just gonna pull this Dreamer first, watch out for Dark Vision, which again is kind of random. There it is. At least I think it is random. Alright, and then we also want to watch out for its big death AoE. So I'm actually going to demonstrate to you guys here about line of sighting this move. So we're going to hide around here. You'll see the AoE come around me, but you're fine because it's a line of sight. What's actually really cool about and interesting about that enemy is if you were to use a poison fruit in here, and there are those dreamers that are floating around, they will still actually go through a self-destruction situation. So you don't want to be near a dreamer when you are using a poison fruit, because by the time your invuln drops, you can still die from that explosion, so be very careful. The chances of me showcasing that might be really low since I don't have a poison fruit, but... we picked up a flight, which will definitely help us speed up on the next floor, because it'll reduce the amount of enemies we need to kill by half. And always a good one to have. This is also, by the way, the time in this set where you do want to be more aggressive with your Pomanders. I mean, you want to have something for 99, but there's a lot of these Pomanders that you don't need anymore. I mean, you don't need a flight for 99. You know, you don't need alterations and such, so you're going to be a little bit more aggressive to kind of help you get through. So you'll probably see me use flights a little bit more often, but I definitely want to be able to showcase to you as many fights as possible. Pull another Triffid here. Okay, watching for Entangle and watching for Creeping Ivy. Entangle's here. These guys are stunnable in case you need to do it. Okay, that plant's getting a little close to me. Okay. Let's pull the Dreamer here, since that is sight, and I can get around the plant. Watching for the line area here. Actually, I might be mistaken. This might be a little bit more of a regular timer. That's okay. As long as you're ready for Dark Vision, that's what's important. And again, do not use a wall to line of sight that Dark Vision, as you will die. There was another one. But we can line of sight its death animation, which we will do right here. Okay, we need another pull. Now, the Dreamers are not stunnable, but these guys are stunnable. Now be careful here, because it'll probably use Rotten Sense right away. I'll be very careful about that. Ooh, it kind of offset a little bit because I stunned. Okay, Rotten Sense. I still need another pull here. I'll pull the Dreamer. A little bit of a high kill, but that's okay. We have a flight on the next floor coming up. Again, watching for the death animation here. And the exit doesn't register, by the way, if it's in this kind of animation right now. So you won't know if you open the exit until it's gone. So there you go. That's one thing to note as well, because it's definitely good to have that information. Mimics again. Fear the Pox will definitely be a little bit annoying. We only have one Serenity, which can be a little treacherous if we run into any no items, but we do have Maze Roots to kind of help us out with that department, so we don't run into a floor where I have Pox on. I also want to hold on to my Purity, which I only have one of right now. Simply because I kind of want to make sure that if we get Pox like near the boss, that we kind of have it available there. So I'm going to hold on to that one Purity. Okay. Alright, let's go to the next floor. pretty big floor, 8 minutes into this one, but that's not too bad. The next few might be a little bit faster because of the flight. Okay, so this is flighted, so we'll need less kills to get out of here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip these plants at the moment. Especially because they are sound, so I can get through them and check the other rooms. We do want some help with the chests going on here, so we will try to get to them. The Dreamer, again, would be probably the more annoying one since it can see me, so I'm going to pull this one here. And watching for that line AoE coming out. Trying to see if I can sneak any patrols or listen to them. Okay, walking here to avoid the Triffid. I'm gonna walk past the chest in case it's a Mimic. There is a Poppet floating around. That is a strength, that's good. Okay, I wanna probably take care of the Poppet. And it does whinge, it's point blank. It is stunnable. Pop the potions and healing as necessary. I don't think there's anything else behind me. It would have probably come by now. Watching whinge. And we do want to check the last couple of rooms here. Again, avoiding the plants just because I can't get around them. Not avoiding them because they're deadly or anything. It's just I can get around them and we can minimize the kills since this is a flighted floor. That is a votive, so we're definitely getting the votive here. What's it gonna be? Sprint on the next floor. Speaking of the next floor, I'm probably going to do an affluence and a flight to get my flights to 2. Be a little aggressive on flight since we have a lot of them. Let's do an affluence for a little bit more chests. Hoping for a little bit more silver chests to show up. Looking for a bark bomb if we can help it. And then flights. Definitely recommend, if you had a bark bomb, to definitely hold on to it as much as you can for specifically the 99 boss. Be a very, very good idea to have it. It's not the end of the world if you don't have it, but it definitely will help if you do. Okay, a lot more rooms to go for. Let's check this one. That is our bark bomb. Good. We got exactly what I'm going for. All I have to do is just say it a lot, and then it comes in. Let's pick it up. Forehead. I might aggro this because I'm going through its hitbox. Okay, good. Checking the last room over here. Probably will get closer to the exit. That is the silver. I will pull this one. Yeah, be careful with this guy because he's a little bit faster in his AoEs. Like to stay close and then run behind. If you stun him, he gets a little out of sync, but that's okay. Golden Dust, and then watch out for Rotten Scent directly after. Okay, Dreamer coming in. Watch for the line AoE. Also watch for the explosion afterwards. I'm actually going to position him over here so I can get around towards that silver chest since I'm going in that direction to begin with. Keeping an eye on the line AoE that could be coming out. Okay, moving away from it as we're going to this natural direction here. Maze Root again. I will use that Maze Root as the extra one. Maze Root will delete any debuffs that were on the floor and also just open the exit and show all the traps on the ground if there are any. Very useful. And also it does do witching onto enemies if we were to pull any. Hopefully by now, getting to 91, you know what it does. But hey, maybe someone is just looking at the guide only for 91. Nice having some reviews, not gonna lie. I know sometimes I gotta like get a quick review sometimes with certain things too, you know, even if you haven't done it for a while. Just like a nice little brush up on the information. Okay, walking through these guys, I don't need to kill anymore because we have the Maze Root. Now here we can also be a little aggressive on the incenses. So I had already used the flight, kind of not predicting I'd pick up an incense, but the incense will typically have a little bit of a higher drop rate. So I would want to keep them at 2, just because it would be more advantageous to do so. But because we use the flight, I will commit to the flight unless I pick up another one, which is, that could totally happen. Affluence again. So I want to use that affluence and keep it at 0. Just for the sake of, getting a chest in, etc. Okay, watch out for the point blank here. Winch. Now, if you're familiar with if you remember the Humbabas from the previous floor, the wargs are going to be kind of similar. Maybe a little bit more easier to manage in my opinion. But basically the mechanic of the triple and the quadruple are going to be the same kind of thing that they do. We'll definitely showcase that to you guys. Guys and gals. Okay, so the Warg are site aggro. So we're gonna watch for its first move here. Gonna do a triple hit, so it's gonna be triple. I'm gonna count to 3, okay? You can do quad or triple, that's 1. That's 2. That's 3. We're gonna move out because it's going to do a point blank right there. That is a one-shot. But it's a point blank. It's actually a pretty short point blank. If you're on Samurai and you're feeling a little spicy, I almost think you can actually Madari in a perfect range and not get hit with that. But, it is a one-shot, so don't be too spicy. But hey, you could probably do it. But it is a point blank as opposed to the Humbabas, which is the full conal in front of it, so it's a little bit easier to manage because you don't have to run behind him. If anything, I feel like it's the trickery of the mechanic, because if you got used to the Humbaba and you're like, oh yeah, well the Humbaba I ran behind it's probably going to catch you there because you have to actually run away from it this time. Dark Vision coming out. I'm in a little bit of a particular situation because we have a Dahak in the other room. So I'm gonna probably move over here and get the line of sight. Yeah, that's probably good. I'm gonna move it back just a little bit, just in case. Okay. So I'm gonna line of sight into this room to get the avoidance from the death animation. And then we'll pull the Dahak. And there's a patrol actually coming this way, so I might actually look at the patrol if he comes this way. Which he is. Okay, so the Hawk is over here. Alright, so this is a sound patrol. Sawtooth is a sound, which is kind of nice. Likely it's not a proximity patrol. This patrol is very similar to the Hydra in Eureka Orthos, the floor 80 boss. It'll do front, left, or right. So here it's right, so I go to my right. If it says go right, then you go right. You can kind of stay in its foot, and honestly, you don't even have to move for right or left because the front is going to be open. But very similar mechanics. It either does front, it either does right, left, or front. If it's front, then just get behind it. If it's left, go left. Here's the front one. May as well kind of demonstrate it. I'm going to let it kind of do its thing so you can see the front. That's the front. Pretty straightforward with this enemy. If anything, it probably gets a little complicated if you have multiple of them, but you can kind of just outrun them too. And there's a lot of walls here, so you can kind of just line of sight too. Okay, gonna check the chest first, and then we'll pull the Dahak. The Dahak is very interesting. This one is not too bad in a solo situation. If you've done any match party, you know that this guy is actually really, really deadly. What it does here is that it'll do a breath. That is a front tonal. No telegraph, front tonal. Right. And actually, 0 telegraph. It's also very similar to the Humbaba's bellows. Now, what this thing does in a match party is that if anyone is behind the Dahak, it will do an instant tail swipe, which will kill anyone instantly. It's like an instant move, not even a charge up, boom, you're dead. Now, in terms of a solo situation, you more or less will not run into that move. Unless, we've heard some gamers, if you sleep it and then wake it up when you're really far behind, then it'll do it. But we don't have sleep on melee, so it's not really a concern. But it's actually pretty hard to just force it out. Like, I had spent some time trying to see if I could stun and then make it do its move, and you really can. So that, I would say, is not too much of a concern if you're a melee to worry about that tail swipe or getting one-shot by the thing. So I would say those guys, the Dahaks, are pretty good pull. Just get rid of them if you want to feel like fighting them, not too bad. I would say these are more deadlier than the Dahak, in my opinion, so... Now we just kind of clear the floor. This is flighted, so we're probably going to get out of here soon, if not on the next kill. We kind of examined all the rooms at the moment. I do want to get to that gold chest. Even if it's going to risk a mimic, it's fine. We want some chests. Okay, watching the AoEs here. Alright, gonna walk here to check that chest. If it's a mimic, I want to go towards the exits, since this plant is over here. It is not. We get actually a very important Serenity there. So I'm not going to flight into the next floor, and my ideal usage here is a Maze Route. We're going to go for a Maze Route here. And the Maze Route will help me kind of reveal the floor, check the chest, so on and so forth. Really good to save you time as well. But actually what I'm going to probably do here is I'm going to check if there's any new enemies to pull before we kind of go for the Maze Route. Because otherwise you can't see their mechanic. And I'm seeing a whole bunch of wards, so I think we're fine. So we're going to Maze Route. Okay. Yeah, the unfortunate part, these guys are kind of giving me a really bad spot, so let's kind of clear up some so I can get to the chest here. Feo will kind of do their thing with the witching, so that's kind of nice. So they'll do some damage, they'll do the witching. Very, very useful for crowd control. Really, really useful if you're kind of in a pinch and you kind of have a couple things that you've aggroed accidentally. And I do not have witchings at the moment, so that's kind of a pseudo-witching, if you will. If they're turned into a shrub, they don't do anything other than that. So it's kind of nice and very chill here. We do have a new enemy, but I'll pull them on the next floor as we won't be able to really see their mechanic. Now, just for the sake that we're seeing it, these guys are Sight, the Bachelor. So we can walk right past them, get to the chest, and go. Again, even if I pull these, you're not going to see their mechanic because Feyul will witching them. We're definitely going to get to the other 3 gold chests as best as I can. Kill on the way to kind of stock up just in case I need things. This is a regular room. I was going to say a treasure room again, but it is not a treasure room. This Warg might aggro. It did not. Steel, I will use that. The patrol had just gone into the other room. That was to the exit, so we'll kind of avoid that for now while we check the other chests here. Okay. Alright, so we only have the spider ladies or gentlemen that are here as a new enemy to pull later. And we're stocking up here, guys. We have the 1 key essential palm. It actually would be really nice to pick up yet another bark bomb if we can help it, because we do have the raising up. Alright, can I get to anything here clean? Doesn't look like it, so we will kind of bypass this exit and kind of just go. You could get a little spicy with your Feyol, because they'll be able to kind of clear out the well, not really clear it out, but they'll be able to witching that entire room. You can kind of clean out that room little by little if you want to maybe go for the chest there, but we want to keep the risk a little bit low here, right? This Dahak, I was gonna say, where's your breath? Probably a good visual here to see what that breath does here. Pretty wide conal. Patrol incoming, that is a sound patrol, as mentioned before, the Sawtooth. So we're just gonna let it pass by and walk past it. RP walk. Alright, we're gonna head to the exit. So here, I might expend another flight here to kind of keep that at a lower number since we're getting towards the boss now. All these spiders are actually being very nice. Sorry if you are arachnophobic, because that is a very, very authentic looking spider. I'm gonna do a time check here. I think we're stepping to the 5th floor in 38 minutes. That's not bad. I do have a seal up here, so I think I might hold with the seal. I think we're gonna be okay here. We'll see. Otherwise, I will Serenity. This is flighted, though. Malevolence. This is slight aggro, as you can see. This basically just does one thing, and it's just a short conal AoE, so we're just gonna walk past it after it does its smashing blow right over here. That's it. We do have a patrol coming in, that's not good, so I'm gonna kind of walk here, RP walk it through. Hopefully he doesn't use smashing blow before I get past it. Okay, looking good. Alright, we're moving back. Again, watching out for smashing blow, that's all it does right now. Nice animation. We can't stun him. I'm going to pull him back into this direction, because this is going to be a little bit safer. Watching my HP just in case this gets a little spicy. Watching for the next move coming in. There it is. Gonna get behind. Okay, good. I'm gonna pull one of the patrols here. I'm gonna pull this one. Watching for its moves. Honey left. Again, I don't really have to move, but I'll go to my left. You'll see kind of where the hit goes. This is stunnable. Honey right can kind of stay. Pretty straightforward mob. It's only kind of more interesting if you have to deal with multiple of them. But if you're dealing with them one-on-one, it's not too bad at all. Gonna pull another one just so it doesn't kind of sneak up on me, and then we'll try to see if I can find the spider enemy. Honey left, I don't have to really move. I'm gonna go to my left a little bit here. Watching my back just in case, but I haven't seen anything yet. Honey left again, so we'll go to our left. Okay. So far, so clean. Let's go see if we can find a spider. The Warg was here. He is guarding that door. That's unfortunate. I probably will aggro the Warg based on his current position. I might actually just let him go past for now and just chill. So as you can see, I mean, we have Steel on, which is really good, but this is a low HP down and a Gloom floor, and we're kind of just handling it okay. It's kind of, you know, kind of PT in general. Not terribly bad. You have a lot of ways out, etc. Alright, the Bachelor. The Bachelor is sight. Its first move is going to do is that it is an arcane web. We can stun it, which we did right there. It's going to then follow up with another move, AoE Shadowburst. Now, this move is very similar to the Scorpions in 51+, the Yabis, where they do a slow into a follow-up move, where if you don't get out of it, then you kind of dej. And that's kind of similar to that. So, oh god, hold on. A little bit of a problem. Okay, gonna count numbers quadruple. That's 4. So 1. That's 2. It's 3. And he didn't do the last one. Okay. You can kind of run away from that move. That's what I was kind of doing there. That's why he didn't finish with the point blank. Sometimes it can get a little complex if you do that, just because, you know, hey, I don't know if he's going to do it or not, but in this case, I wanted to get a little distance because of the AoE. Okay, gonna try to examine the other rooms here before we kind of head out, just in case we get some chests. Get my HP back up as well. Dahak is here. A Mimic actually would be kind of a little tragic, but I will get the votive, that's for sure. Mimic would actually be really annoying if I get a Mimic here. Mortification. I will actually skip chests. I'll skip gold chests. I definitely want a silver chest. We'll skip a gold chest just because if it is a Mimic, like I said, it could cause a little bit of havoc getting the pox in. Especially if I aggro something else, it might force me into the Serenity. That's where, like, very common question, hey, when do you stop checking chests? Well, I don't technically stop checking chests, but there are situations where when you kind of weigh the outcomes and the consequences of doing something, it may be worth at least skipping in this case. So, holding on to Serenity and going through. So we won't check this one just because I will avoid the Mimic. I do have the Steel on, so we would be probably able to kill it. But in this case, we'll play it safe. I mean, if you didn't have the Steel on, and then you're in this kind of situation, I would definitely be like, yeah, don't deal with the real chest. You could probably do it with this one, though. Going to the next floor kind of raw here. We do have Mortification, so that will mean I can kill things a little bit faster. Another Gloom floor. So we're 96. We have 96, 97, 98. We got 3 more floors to go with 2 Serenity. So I'm probably going to hold on to the Serenity for now. And let's see what we got today. So we have this Destrudo. And we have the Sawtooth. Okay. So I might pop a Steel here, because I really only need to be at 2 Steel and 2 Strength with the raising that I have. So I will pop that now. Because even if we have to redo the fight, I only get 2 chances, right? So... okay, Malevolence we already fought before, so let's do the chest first. That is a Steel, got the Steel back. So the Destrudo is a sight enemy. If it was sound, I would laugh, but it is a giant eyeball, so it hopefully is kind of a sight enemy. It is. It has 2 big moves, one of which Purification is actually pretty good for. Its first move is a Gaze move. This one will give you Doom, a cleansable Doom, so that means Purification can actually be good. It's then going to follow up with a line attack that is going to go through a wall. If you get hit with it, that is Stare. It is relatively fast, so be careful with that. So just be careful, that's all it does. So make sure you're not hiding around the wall for that one. Then just basically be ready for that. You can stun him. Very good. We have an Archdemon. This one does 2 moves. First move is going to be similar to the Talos, where I believe that is a targeted AoE. Let me just check. No, that is actually a move similar to the Cerberus on the other floor, where it's kind of in front of them. So it's a circle move there. It is not stunnable. I didn't have stun, never mind. I think it is stunnable. Karma is the second move. It's a giant conal, pretty quick. So make sure that you're out of the front when it does it. So it'll interchange between Unholy and Karma. Gonna actually hold on here just to kind of confirm the stun. Gonna move out of the center there. As you can see, it's in front of it. Gonna stun him. He is stunnable. Confirmation on the stun. Watch out for Karma, that is in front of you. Pretty quick. Hell yeah. This is a treasure room, so I think I avoid the treasure room and just kind of proceed. It's targeted on a random player. Ooh, that could be fair. And that's not something you'll see solo, if that's the case, Kobzo. Because I think it is a snapshot move. I think it picks, when it starts the move, it picks the thing, maybe. But I never really ever had that targeted, like, away from the thing. Like, it's always been in front whenever I see that move go off, so... Okay, the Gusion is going to be similar to a couple of the other ones, left and right mechanics. So we're going to see where it is. If it says left, I go left. So I go left here. And then it'll follow immediately with the right one. Half arena. Over here, then we go to the opposite side. Alright, that's this guy. Stun. Not stunnable. And he has the Gusion Embrace. Kind of a double attack, but nothing too scary to talk about. It snaps out when casting. Although that Archdemon didn't seem to. Let's see. Let me actually do this, right? I'm gonna continue run away from this thing. We can just check it right now. Okay, Unholy Darkness. So that should be away from it. Nope, that is just in front of it, so... At least this one, yeah, and I know Lightning Bolt is directly in front of it. Again, it could be different for a party mechanic, but at least for a solo, it's not something to be too concerned about. I am surprised I didn't aggro anything. Gotta be careful with this one. I do want to try to get to this room, so we're gonna pull the Sawtooth here, which is a sound enemy. Watching its move, it is right. Again, I don't really have to move here. Okay. Going to that room to see what the chest could possibly be, if there is one over there. The Destrudo we've already pulled. I'd like to pull another spider lady or gentleman, but I don't think they're here anymore. That's okay. We got to show you what the mechanic was. There's only one other enemy that you haven't seen yet. Oh, there it is. Okay, perfect. Actually, I want to demonstrate this to you guys. So we stun the arcane web initially, and I'm gonna let that go on purpose. This does not do damage on the initial bit. It'll give me a slow. Why? I don't know why that cancels. If you're in motion here and it does the other AoE, we can't get out of here with ample time to avoid Shadow Burst. So that's one thing to think about. You don't have to go crazy with the initial stun. You can line of sight the purple AoE if you really wanted to, but that's exactly what that thing does. I believe there's only one more enemy that I can show you guys. I feel like there's a lot less enemies here than there are in the previous floor set, but that's okay. Okay, going to my left, and then going to my right. Immediately to the right. Okay, Here. Archdemon. Archaeodemon. Unholy Darkness, get out of the front here. I was respected. Watching for the patrol, the other enemy, because he's kind of just behind me. Pulling this one now, because I need another kill. Watch for the Mortal's Gaze. That is, again, a Doom. I mean, it's basically similar to the one of the Alliance raids, too. Same move. Alright, let's get out of here. We only got 2 more floors, which means you can Serenity all of them. I could also flight them, so I will flight one of them. I'm gonna keep the Maze Route in order. Again, I'm gonna keep the Maze Route just in case I actually need to do the fight twice. That's gonna be backup right now. I'll do the flight here. Probably don't use the alteration. I mean, you could, but we'll see. Probably don't use it. Multiple debuffs, but we do have 2 Serenities for the last 3, so I'm definitely gonna send this one for now. Okay, last one, the Acheron. Acheron is basically the same as the Gusion, but it doesn't have a tell. You're gonna see where the sword is facing, and that's where it's going to attack. So if it's facing on that side, it'll do the attack on that side. It is a half cleave on the room, so you want to be away from the sword of where it's facing. A little bit of a mind screw, because sometimes, like, you see one side is supposed to attack the other one, or like you would think it would swing across. But in this case, the side the sword is facing, that is the half that it's going for. If it's going to be over here, it's going for. So it's a visual tell. The move itself will be the same. I think it's Authority's Edge, I believe is the name of the move. So it'll say the same thing, you just have to look at the visual. And be very careful with that one. That is line of sightable too. You can line of sight it. I will try to pull another one just to see if we can kind of stun them. I believe you can, since I can't stun the Gusion. Watching for karma here. I gotta tell you, when I went through this the first time on my clear attempt, I was so terrified about what everything did because I was going in completely blind. And I avoided so many enemies, and we kind of just wiped our way through. But now knowing what everything does definitely helps ease up this entire set. Like I was thinking like a whole bunch of like mystery moves and everything, not too bad. Arguably I would almost say like I'm more terrified of like 81 movesets than I am for this one, if I had to say so. There is a gold chest, which I will check, and we'll check this votive. Treacherous grounds on the next one. Actually, I can safety since we are on the final floor. The final 2 floors, that is. I picked up an alteration, which I'll probably leave on the ground. Treacherous grounds supposedly increases the amount of traps that could possibly be in the room. The going theory is that it works like an affluence, so if you're expecting like, you know, 4 traps, now you can expect like 5 or 6 traps. That's pretty much what you're going with. Basically can be circumvented with a sight or a safety, so it's not too treacherous, if you will. Okay, finding our way out of here. And if I find another Acheron, I'll pull one just so you can see the if it is stunnable. There's multiple rooms in that direction, so I might go in this direction to see what's over here. Looks like it's multiple rooms either way I go, so I guess we'll just pick this one for now. We do need another kill, but that's okay. Most of these things are going to be sight or sound. There's nothing proximity here anymore, so we can just kind of sneak through everything. Witching is in. This is totally going to aggro, so we'll just fight now. It does have a conal in front of it, so just be careful. It does come out relatively fast on the first rotation. Keeping an eye on when the next one's going to come in. Yeah, nothing here. Oh, I do want to pull this one, though. I'm going to check a stun. I'm just going to see its moveset again. Stun. Oh, it is stunnable. Neat. Okay. Thought it would be similar to the Gusion, but it's not. Okay, so it is on my left side, so I'm going to go to its opposite side, away from the sword. There's a half cleave. So at least you got to actually see 2 versions of where the swords are. Now you can kind of see and tell how to determine which one's which. Alright, let's get out of here to the north. That eyeball is looking at me very threatening. I probably will aggro it. Not anymore. This is safety. We're just gonna go to the next floor as is. No shenanigans on the next floor. And sometimes it is gonna be faster for you to kill it. If I had strength on, that's something to consider. For here, we're just kind of being a little patient, also kind of thinking about, you know, other things we can kind of talk about, if you will. My purities are good. If we pop a Mimic, we're actually really good if we pop a Mimic, so we're definitely not going to fear away from chests, especially if we can use something. We would like to see another silver chest, like I said, maybe another Bark Bomb if we can help it, but RNG is RNG. We'll see what the game gives us. Everything else is kind of okay. Don't really need anything. Devotions are still going to actually show up, but we're not going to have any more use for them at all. Be careful with this enemy, because he turned. Watching for Smashing Blow. So right now, your only concern is the Serenity, which will probably use for the next floor. And then having whatever incense you have, and Shank Steel and Haste. So we only have one Haste, though. But that's okay. Okay, that's a Bronze Chest. Again, Bronze Chests here don't give you potsherds. So it's okay that I skipped that one over there. It's not a big deal. Okay, here I'm thinking about doing... no, we'll take the Pox. I'll take the Pox for now. I was thinking about doing a Witching, but I do have that Pox. I'm only going to need one Purity anyway. So we can kind of go into the next floor with the Pox. That's not a big deal. And then erase it when we get to the boss on 99. For this, I would say this is a nice kind of like standard run. You know, not too crazy with like getting too many poms and just having to kind of fly to the end. This is definitely a good run to see like what everything does and if you have to fight through things. And even if we do, our time is still really good. We had 21. I mean, we walked in with like a lot of fights, to be fair. Use one maze route. But I would say it's like, you know, a little bit more average of what you typically see on a run. It's definitely common to probably get a run where you have like devotions that you've been sitting on, all flights, and a whole bunch of poison fruits, and pick up a whole bunch. We actually didn't really pick up that many incenses, which are pretty common up here, so you could get a much even cleaner climb to the boss. But hey, if you gotta fight things, at least you know what they do now, right? And that is the whole purpose of this. Okay, Fortune. We're going to the next floor. Do you have a Serenity waiting for that next floor? The final floor, if you will, before the boss. And we actually had a pretty nasty debuff set, but who cares because we were able to Serenity through all of them and did one maze through on it, so not a big deal. We will do the site here. Alright, let's clean up. I'm actually going to pop a Fortune here, because we may get lucky with some chest shots. So we'll try to go for the Fortune here. Gonna hold on to the Strength, because I only have 2. I will pop the Steel, though, so I can use it for this floor. But I do want to hold on to the Strength, because if we die on the next one, I would want to have the Strength for the second attempt. So kind of planning ahead just in case things go wrong. Definitely going to be good for you. If you're going through this for the first time, you want to have a little bit of insurances and not kind of plan for one attempt, if you can help it. You know, sometimes it isn't so much the mechanics. You know, we can talk about the mechanics, we can be like, hey, this is what you gotta do, but the nerves sometimes come into play, and that's a factor that does matter too, you know? Honey left, we're staying on this side. I can go to my left, actually, not to my right. My bad. Watching out for this. I'm gonna be on my right first. Then to my left. Couple patrols are coming into play here. There's one coming this way. I will take care of it. Looks like... Okay. Honey front. We're actually getting the front out of the front this time. Going back in front. There was one more patrol that went to my left, and that was towards the exit. May want to hunt it down if I see it come back up again. There it is. Just get rid of it so it's a little bit less of a problem. My right here, but I don't have to move too much. Even more simpler than the Gusion. Where you had to make more of an explicit movement to avoid their thing. Here, if it's left or right, you don't have to move at all. Okay. Gonna check... I just dropped the chest here. Cool. Gonna definitely check the rooms here. I'm gonna try to check to the last room. That's a patrol. Where'd it come from? Weird. Okay, you're just gonna aggro me if I come across this room, so I'll just fully know. The benefit of me clearing out the patrols is that I only have now one more, probably. I'm gonna go left and right here. Left, and then right. Okay, let's check some chests if I can. Mimic, great. I would expect that to show up. If I don't get a free spot going into this room over here without taking an aggro, I'm probably just gonna head out. Don't want to lose too much time, especially if I'm gonna plan for 2 attempts, just in case. Especially if the second attempt is gonna have to be with a maze room. But there is going to be a benefit of checking that room, because if I get a silver chest and it does lead me into a possible bark bomb, that could be a big game changer, especially when you're going for your first clear. Watching this Archaeodemon, there's another Archaeodemon over here. We're going to see which way it goes. It's going towards me, so I'm going to kind of let it go here. Witching came in, don't really need that anymore. This one, they're gonna aggro. There's no way. Oh, they're both gonna aggro. Ah, guess what? Guess what the witching's for? Yeah, that's right, for that one specific situation. It was meant to be. I should drop this before the witching finishes out. I do have to concern myself with the Archaeodemon that's gonna be passing by very soon. Is going in the way that I want to go. Gonna watch for the gaze first. Gaze coming out. And then watch for the lion AoE that I have to get behind is fairly fast. Gonna try to see if there's a possible silver chest in this room. No. Because I don't really need the gold chest anymore. There's nothing really... I mean, a haste would be kind of good. So I will check this last one. Steel. I'm not going to complain about steel. Alright, let's see if we can get to the exit clean here. Alright, good. Now the boss. It's going to be a lot to explain about the boss, so I'll try to do it as we go along. A lot to absorb with this boss. So many mechanics that are all happening in, but there's a lot of time in between to kind of parse them. So here, welcome to the boss. This boss is a two-parter. Much like any of the bosses that you may have faced, if you haven't, we'll explain it anyway, but you have to kind of keep their HP pretty equal. But what's interesting with the Bark Bomb, when we use the Bark Bomb, is that will help. So when the Bark Bomb goes off, the Bark Bomb has a lot of DPS, so you can actually really just focus on one, and it'll kind of balance it all out. And that's why Bark Bomb's going to be really good. Maze Street will be backup. This fight can be pretty long if you have to do this yourself. If you don't have any incenses, you have to actually manage the HPs and equal them out. If they're, I think, within like a large, maybe like a 20-25% difference, they start getting like attack bonuses and defense bonuses, so you have to keep them in. On the floor, you're going to see buffs here. Well, kind of buffs. They're going to change kind of the buff that you have, which will coordinate with how you deal damage to the boss. So you have light, and then you have dark, okay? So these are the things that you need to do specific damages to the boss. Dark will be for the bottom, and then light will be for the top. Or in other words, you need light to do damage to the top, and you need dark to do damage to the bottom, okay? And again, if we're running with a Bark Bomb, which we will, probably just have to focus on one, but there is going to be a moment in this fight where we have to deal with two of them, where we have to swap between them. So for now, I'm going to get the Bark Bomb up, and I'm going to refresh the dark, and we're going to focus on the dark. I highly recommend that you focus target one of these things, and that'll come in later. Let's do some damage. Actually going to swap, only because now I set the Bark Bomb to attack the bottom one, so I actually go to the top one. That's kind of... whatever, it doesn't really matter. Alright, first move is going to come in. It is Ball of Fire and Blade of First Light. One of them is going to fire first. Look at your left side for it. Blade of Light is here. Ball of Fire is going to be snapshotting on my position, and we're going to move away from it. The moment that cast finishes, that is where that's going to fire up. So you have to see which one is firing off first, and I use my left side of the enemy list to see which one it is. You have to really pay attention to that. Bound of Sin is going to drag you into the middle, and you're going to see circles around it. We want to go to the last one. And we want to move early, because we can move out of that early. If you get stuck in the middle, you're getting a pretty sizable damage and you're getting a bomb. If you get hit with the circle AoE, you're going to get knocked off the arena and you're dead. This spine shot, we're going to position here. I'm going to show you why, okay? Okay, boom. So now here, it's going to shoot back. So here, it shoots towards that pillar over there, because if we hit in the middle in those glasses that are behind us... Do I have time to show it? Not yet. I'll show it in a little bit. There are glasses behind us. And if they break, they spawn adds. Now here, we're going to look at this. Look at this, okay? This eye opens from top to bottom. And then it's going to put crystals on the ground. This top to bottom is not our safe spot. Then it goes left and right. This one is going to be our safe spot. And we're going to show you later a little bit after that. So my safe spot's going to be bottom left right now. Bottom left. I'm going to show you why. So Drain Aether. Okay, so now I want to be on Dark because the bottom one is going to fire first. I need to match the weakness here to avoid that one. Then I go to the light to avoid the hit from the top one. You're kind of matching the weakness on that to avoid that attack that's coming in. Here, this move is coming in. This is extra flares, essentially, from all the other mechanics. And we want to do the one that's going left to right, which was over in this position. That right side is basically going to be covered because everything is going up and down. The one I'm standing in is the one that's going left and right. That's why that safe spot's there. We'll have a couple more opportunities to showcase that. Now here, gonna move to the open one over this way. You have enough time to avoid that with normal running. You don't have to sprint, but it is a little bit of a tricky one because you might think the mechanic... Okay, let's do this one. Change is first. Change is going to be do not move. I can attack, but do not move. And then Blade of First Light, the big blade, is down the middle, so you need to get out of there first. Okay, the Bound of Sins, it's a little tricky because it looks like you can move a little later, but you can move actually early in the mechanic. Here, up and down, the eye is going up and down. We are indicating our not safe spot. The not safe spot is the same position as it was earlier. The left and right is the safe spot that we want to go for. It's going to actually be in the same exact position. It's going to be bottom left. Now here, in this phase of the fight, it's going to actually take quite a while to get back to it. Spine slash one more time. Okay, look. It's going to hit towards a pillar here, okay? Wait for that targeted to go in. And then I move. It's going to shoot into a pillar. If I shoot it into a glass, it opens and spawns an ad. You do not want that happening. So that's why you have to position that thing in that specific spot on either side. There's multiple sides that you can do it. Watch Bound of Sin. It's going to be circling around, but we lose the bind pretty quickly. I'm going to go to the one that's free over here. More than enough time to move. Again, we have still not resolved the extra flares. Ball of Light, Blade of First Light. Blade of First Light is first. It's going to be to the side of the arena. Ball of Fire is going to be snapshotting my position right here, and move. Okay, we're good. Alright, so there's a lot of mechanics firing up. Drain Aether, I'm going to go and stay on this because I am light, and I'm going to block the light right now. That's first. Now I'm going to go to Dark to block the bottom one. And that's second. Okay, I'm going to hit the light. I'm going to go to the safe spot here. Okay, gonna stay. As you can see, things are going left and right. That's why our safe spot's here. Everything else is going up and down on the other one. Okay. Continuing to just wail on this enemy. Bound of Sins is coming out. Gonna drag us in, then we're gonna move early. Right about now. Avoid that first one. And if you get hit with the white one, you are getting kicked out of the arena. That is a death. You can fall off the arena. Spine Slash positioning it by the pillar here, waiting for the target to go away, and then we can move right away after that. A lot of these moves, by the way, a lot of these AoEs, you can get hit with them, you will get a bone, but the Extra Flare you cannot. That will one-shot you, so you do not want to get hit with Extra Flare. I'm gonna actually switch here. Okay, so the safe spot is coming out first now. Left and right is first, so now my safe spot is the top left. And my danger spot is on the right side of the arena, the right half of the arena. Up and down is danger. Top left is our safe spot. Drain Aether, the first one is the dark, so I'm just going to reconfirm that it's dark here. Going to take the dark to avoid the first damage, and then we're going to swap to light to avoid the second one. And then we're going to go to the safe spot, because this is like the beginning of the fight. You can tell that the extra players are coming in, because those crystals will light up. That's your indication. You have like enough time to kind of get to the safe spot too after they light up without sprinting. So here we're going to move and stay in the corner. Watch the extra flares going through it. Waiting for all of them to resolve. And then it's going to be Bound of Sin again. You're going to be dragging to the middle. Fight's almost done. Doing good. We're going to go to the one that goes last. Boom. Good. Waiting for that to resolve. Okay. Gonna about to kill the top one, but they don't finish. Okay, first, do not move and get out of the middle. So I'm gonna move over here, hold, don't move. And then middle is going to be hit. I'm gonna swap to darkness now, because that's the last one we need to do. Probably gonna drop it before we even get to the next set of extra players. Up and down, that is the danger spot. Danger spot is going to be to the left side now. And boss is done. That's a 99. Don't fall off the arena, please. Don't fall off the arena. Alright. And then we take the run. The run here is pretty short. I would say it's one of the shorter ones. Maybe very similar to Heaven on High. Probably shorter than Heaven on High, if I had to guess so. So you don't have to worry about too long of a run. EO is the longest, and then POTD is second longest. But it's just up the stairs and into this beautiful arena. And then you just hit the small altar, and you are finished. Really, actually, a really nice area. There you go. That is, 91 to 100. And hopefully you get your title. Make sure you did this from 1 to 100, because otherwise you don't get the title. Very good job. That is our guide, 91 to 100. Hopefully that is good enough information for you guys, so let's go. Cheers. Alright.